So I was reading through my sources and I was looking through and I seen some comments from a former player and a Hall of Famer in Paul Pierce in regards to, Russell Westbrook. And he was asked the question by KG, his main guy, that would he keep Russell Westbrook? And, Paul Pierce's response was, Russell Westbrook and the Clippers couldn't show that they could stay healthy and they couldn't win. So it's like, why keep investing in something that just ain't won nothing or that can't win because they can't stay healthy enough to do so? And he was referring to Russ in his comments, but he also was referring to the whole Clippers squad and, whoever the main dogs are on the Clippers squad, because you got to find a way to win when you have the talent of a Kawhi Leonard and the PG. And I definitely understand that. And I definitely don't, overlook that, because that's a lot of talent on one team with those two guys, because they make up for so much ground on the offense and defensive end. And like when both of them are right, I think the NBA definitely has problems if both of them are right and both of them are healthy, because I feel like they could just win off talent alone because they're just so gifted offensively, and then both of them could play good defensively. And Kawhi is just a monster when he's healthy. He's like just basically a defensive Michael Jordan, like, what I'm saying? He's just on another level when he's healthy, especially in the playoffs usually. So even with his injury, I still think he's going to come back and play at a high level. And I still think that he's still going to be the player that he was. I just think, him playing through the torn meniscus shows what type of tough guy he is. So I think nobody should be questioning his heart and his credibility when it comes to that, or him. He's definitely a champion. So, he's definitely trying to lead this team, but it's just a hard road in the process because things just seem to keep happening that doesn't need to. First, it was Paul George with the injury, the hyperextended knee in that game where he was having a great game before the end of the season. And then, Kawhi Leonard goes out because he had to play like the last few weeks to a month, the hardest he's ever played at the end of a season in his career, just to get his team into the playoffs to secure a spot instead of falling to a play-in tournament. So, at some point I thought Kawhi might run out of gas anyway, but even still, it's a lot to ask for somebody coming off an ACL tear to put all that onus on them like that. Even though he's been off a year, but we've seen players where it take them a long time to really get back to full form after ACL tear. Now his was partial, but it still is an ACL tear, so it really doesn't matter. It's still, tissue that has to be removed, and things down there in the knee. It's still operation on the knee, so it doesn't matter. And we've seen some players not ever come back from ACL surgery, and half the player they were, but Kawhi did, and he just has that will and that mindset. I know he'll play better next year, or as good next year, and even do better in the playoffs, if he's healthy next year as well. But either way, when we talk about this situation here, Paul Pierce, what he said, the comments he made about the Clippers, I mean, it really makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to want to invest in something that just isn't working. But at the same time, as I said before, the Clippers really don't have much opportunity out or elsewhere, because if you trade one of those guys, you're not going to get nothing comparable, and you're going into a new building where you want fans to have, everything they want, the superstars, the new arena, the new atmosphere, the new everything, and, open up your own wave, get out under from the Lakers in the same building that you've been in for, all your life, basically, NBA career, NBA life. I mean, so you want to have superstars there. It's going to be hard to pitch a sale to fans with no superstars going into a new arena and don't have nothing to really cheer for. I mean, that's just going to be a waste of money, and Ballmer's going to lose a lot of money because, fans and ticket sales will go down, of course, if there's no superstars to go there and cheer for. So, it's like the Clippers are kind of stuck in a crazy situation with that. So I definitely understand where Paul Pierce is coming from. You don't want to invest in something that's not working, but the Clippers, from their standpoint, Kawhi and PG is all they have for their future. They mortgaged their future basically for Kawhi Leonard and to bring in and acquire their services of Paul George. So, and everything else that came along with that. So if they mortgage their future for this man, honestly, they got to keep Kawhi happy, and they got to try to find a way to win and keep him healthy as well. Now, like I said, some of these reports and stuff that's coming out about Kawhi's camp, that's not really cool with some of the things that the Clippers organization been doing that, I heard that Kawhi isn't really, fond of or he doesn't like. I mean, it could be a dramatic situation, coming this off season, or, I hope not, but it's very possible because, if that's true, and when Kawhi Leonard's not happy, I'm telling you, like, we've seen him bail on a team in no problem, no form, no fashion. He didn't even care. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't want to be there. When he don't want to be somewhere, he makes it evident that he doesn't want to be there. And I don't think, I wouldn't want to see the Clippers situation with Kawhi end badly or anything like that, because, I don't want to see that. I definitely want to see everybody get what they want. I want to see everybody win. But, of course, it might be one of those situations if those reports are true, but we have to see. They could just be, reports out there, and it could just be, some, just speculation. You never know. So we have to really see if it comes out to that, and Kawhi actually requests for a trade and everything. So we have to wait and see how it goes. But I think based upon his knee and things like that, he's really trying to do the treatment, not really trying to get any surgery or anything like that unless he has to, or they have to just clean out a little bit. But, a lot of people have played on torn meniscus, tears. It's like about an 8 to 12 week process where you can start moving again and getting around and start playing and getting yourself going, and things like that. So, I mean, that's just what it is with that, and his other part of his knee has not affected with the ACL, was that everything is good there. So, I mean, that's good news. But this team got to find a way to stay on the court. I'll give you that. But either way, Russell Westbrook, on this team, in regards to what Paul Pierce was saying, really, I'm just not sure if Russell Westbrook is what the Clippers really need. I personally would not bring him back myself, but of course I'm not in the GM seat. But either way, it's like when you think about Russell Westbrook, as I said before, psychologically, you can't win with a player like him because the mistakes that he makes at times can really demoralize a team's momentum. And when we think about basketball, the one thing we think about is runs, because basketball is a game of runs. And when you say game of runs, you're talking about momentum, how the momentum it shifts from one team to the other. So if that's the case with Russell Westbrook's turnovers, the momentum swing and shift of games could really sway the other team's way, especially when you're in big games like the finals and, the third in the playoffs, you know what I'm saying, and that type of atmosphere. And, one slip up against a team equivalent to yours, you could find yourself on the bitter end losing that series, whereas you felt like you should have won if you could have just did this, that, coulda, woulda, shoulda type stuff. So it's like with Russell Westbrook, I mean, I personally wouldn't bring him back because I never envisioned Russell Westbrook's game to be championship material. But at the same time, Russ is not, he's really all they have. There's not many other point guards out there to pick from. So it's like more likely, I think they will re-sign him, especially if Paul George and some others and, majority vote on the team want him back, and maybe even Kawhi Leonard would too. But either way, if they do re-sign him, I like I said, it would be tough for the Clippers to win a championship, but I wouldn't rule anything out. Nothing in the world is impossible, but I feel like it's damn near impossible to win a championship with Russell Westbrook. They would have to show me that they can do it, because I really don't believe it. But I would just have to see it from there. But in regards to that, I would agree with Paul Pierce. I mean, he's basically saying the same thing, not really to bring Russ back because it's not championship material. He's just saying it in a different way, in a more nicer way, because he was a former player. He doesn't want to disrespect the brotherhood. I understand that, but I'm just saying that how I feel. I don't think Russell Westbrook is the type of point guard you need to win a championship. I think he's the type of point guard that you can utilize and come out off the second unit, off the bench, and maybe work with them. But your main steady starting point guard, I don't know if that's good enough to win a championship, because it wasn't good enough in his past with all the other superstars he played with. So it's like, if you keep seeing the same thing over and over again, it's like, well, he must not be a championship caliber point guard if he's played with all this talent and he hasn't won a finals yet. So it's something about his game. It's something about, him in regards to being on the court, of how his turnovers and, how his mistakes really affect the team's momentum, or his team's momentum, from getting a championship. But either way, like I said, we'll see what the Clippers do, and we'll see if, they keep Russ and keep the, Kawhi and the PG era going, or will they make any changes, or, we'll just have to see what decisions are made, because I'm very interested to see how it all plays out based upon all the things I'm hearing, or should I say all the negative things we're hearing about the Clippers and the era of Kawhi and PG.